Hello everybody, yes, it's Kyla again, and welcome to Paranormal at the Boneyard. I'm in my backyard right now, but I thought I'd take you on a little journey with me. A little bit of trivia about me. I love going for walks. I try to go for walks 5 to 7 times a week, and usually the walks are like anywhere from 8 to 10, sometimes 11 kilometers a day. It's just something I love doing. It's my main form of exercise. It's my main form of cardio. I have arthritis in both my knees, so I can't run, and I don't do sports anymore because of it. So I gotta do something. I have to be active. I love being active. So when I'm home, I do resistance training, and when I like to go for walks, I go for very long walks. On those long walks, I have encountered some ghosts. Ghosts, spiritual activity, paranormal activity, whatever you want to call it. Sometimes it might not be ghost, it might be something else. You never know. But we're going to take a journey, and I'm just going to show you on one route. I take 3 different routes normally, and this one route was my first route, and I've been taking this one the longest on my walks, and I've had a lot of encounters with things. Nothing terrible, nothing felt bad or scary or terrifying, just ones that caught my eye, caught my interest, and I went, So, yes, this is another vlog about ghosts. As I told you before, I really am into ghosts big time, so probably most of these vlogs will be about ghosts. So, I hope you like that, and just buckle up. We're on our way out for the walk now, so come along. This is how the walks usually start. I usually just leave my back gate and go. Haven't been doing that recently because they've been working on the roof, so I don't want to get hit with stuff that's falling off the roof by this by this dumpster. But they're not here today, so nothing's gonna fall on my head. So I'm going this way, and I'll take you to the closest spot to the house where I've had an encounter, a very personal encounter actually. So here we go. I'm off on the side of the road. There's a little driveway here that I'm gonna step on because we have no sidewalks here. This is a rural area, so it's not exactly safe to just be on the side of the road where there's no big shoulder and talk about this, because cars will be coming up. If you see cars, they'll be coming up. There's a hill right there that they can't see over, so that's kind of why I'm just doing this on the side here. But what happened to me, this is closest to my house, is actually right around that hill, right over there, that you'll see this car going past me, will be going down. I was walking this way. I just basically started walking again, I think within a year of that time. I had gone through, I don't even want to say rough patch, it was the worst time of my life, basically, starting in 2014, and went until about, I'd say, late 2018, maybe even a little bit into 2019. It was not a good time. I lost my grandfather, who lived with us, whom I was extremely close with, in 2015. And then my mother, whom I was extremely close with, lost her in 2017. And then my grandmother, who was my grandfather's wife, she passed away a month after my mother. So I lost 3 of my favorite people within 2 years. It was terrible. And so I was just getting over that. I had some surgery and stuff like that, and I restarted going for walks again. So I started going down here. This is where my first normal routes where we're going down here. And over this hill that you've seen cars coming up and down came this silver Ford Taurus station wagon. It was about 2001, 2002. Now the weird thing I thought about that is I was driving a 2001, 2002 Ford station wagon that was silver. And I did not like it. I basically inherited it from my grandparents once they passed on, and it was one of those, well, I have no money, so I have no choice. So yeah, okay, I'll take it, even though I really didn't like it. But, so I was like, no way, please don't tell me somebody else has that eyesore in town, right? And I turned and I looked in my driveway, and sure enough, my car was there. So it wasn't somebody stealing my ugly car. And I was like, okay, that's unusual. And as it was coming up over the hill, I saw that there were 3 people in the car. There was a man driving and 2 people, which I did not really look at because I was busy looking at the driver. And I saw the driver, and I swear to God, oh my God, I couldn't believe this. It was my grandfather. But not my grandfather as in, like, you know, the last years of his life that I remember him. It was my grandfather from the 1980s. You know, with dark hair, and he was big and robust and strong. It was not my grandfather just before he passed away. It was my grandfather in the 1980s. And there's no way it was anybody else. My grandfather was very distinctive looking. He was a big man, and he had a very distinct look. And he was coming over that hill, and he looked at me, and he waved, and then they drove past, and they drove past me. So I was like this, as the car was going this way, and I went like that fast. That's how fast I turned the corner. And there was no car. And if you can see over here, the road goes down a little bit and then it curves. So for me, after it passed me, to immediately go like this, and it's gone, that's not possible. It was not possible. So I didn't see who the other two people were in the car with my grandfather, because I swear it was my grandfather. You cannot change my mind on that. You cannot change my mind on that. It was my grandfather. I think it might have been my grandfather, my mother, and my grandmother, and my grandfather saying, "Hey, we're okay, and we're going now." I honestly feel that in my heart, and that's a very personal sighting on this road for me. So it touches my heart, and it makes me feel like, okay, they're gonna be okay. They're okay. I'm still sad because I can't see them anymore, and they're not around, but they're okay, and that's good enough for me, you know. So that's my first encounter. We're going to keep on walking. It's not too far from the next encounter, which is another cemetery, but yeah, cars are coming, so I gotta go. Okay, welcome to location number 2, on where Kyla has seen something that she can't explain rationally. And guess what? It's another cemetery! So that's why I think it's so funny when I talk to people and I talk about, you know, spirits in the cemetery, and they're like, there's no ghosts in cemeteries, there's no spiritual activity in cemeteries, it's nothing. Like, I actually, when I was in Hamilton Cemetery, I got into a little, I don't want to say argument, because it wasn't, it was just a disagreement there, we'll say that. A little disagreement on it in, with somebody there, because he said, well, what you doing? And I said, well, I'm gonna be doing a little vlog, and it's gonna be about ghosts and stuff. And he's like, there's no ghosts here. And I'm like, well, then what did I see? And he's like, there's no ghosts here, there's no ghosts in a cemetery. And I'm like, it doesn't mean you can't come and visit. You know, just because your body's here and your soul is gone doesn't mean your soul might not want to come back and say, hey, how am I doing? You know, I guess, how's my stone doing? Who's visiting me? Is anybody taking care of my grave? You know, anything like that. Or you're visiting somebody else. Maybe you visited your cousin's grave when you were alive, and now you're still doing it in the afterlife. Maybe it's residual energy. But don't tell me that there's no ghosts in cemeteries, because I won't believe you. So, but yeah, we're here. And I don't know if you can see here, there are a series of trees that are there kind of, yeah, there you go. When you walk along the road, they block the view as you walk past the cemetery. And this one was a very long time ago, actually. This was back when I was just a young little thing, I guess, a young lady. And I was taking a walk down this road. I think I was going to the store over here somewhere, I can't remember. And I saw a woman, solid, thought she was a real human being. And she was over here somewhere. I was foolish enough not to see what grave she was looking at. Again, I really gotta stop doing that and just go right to the grave. But I was walking along the road here, and as I'm walking along, I saw her. The trees here blocked my view of her, and once I got from one side of the tree to the other side of the tree, she was gone. Now, this was an older woman, and was clearly not spry enough for me to take the 5 seconds to go from one side of the tree to the other side of the tree to sprint away. She was wearing, it almost looked like a blue denim, like a light denim skirt, down to maybe mid-calf. And she was a larger woman, and she had a black sweater on, and she had black hair with gray speckles in it, and it was pulled back, and she was just standing at a grave, like here's a grave right here. She was just sort of standing there and just looking at it, like she was somebody visiting somebody else's grave. And the thing that I was interested in is that, where the hell did she go? Like, it was like, I wasn't interested in what she was looking at. I was interested in her. Where did this woman go? So I came in here looking for her. And I mean, it's not a big cemetery. It's right near my house. It's a nice little cemetery. It's an old cemetery. It's a beautiful cemetery. Lots of old stones and everything around here, but it's not that big. It's not like Hamilton Cemetery, which is massive. This one, it was just like, there's no place for her to go. There's houses over on this side over here. There's houses over here and a creek right here. And the road. So she either jumped in the creek in 5 seconds from over here to way over here, or she jumped into somebody's backyard over here without me seeing. And I'm sorry, that's impossible. Now, I'm not sure of the exact location she was in, but it was somewhere around these stones here, so that she could be blocked in my view from these trees over on that side over here. So she was looking down at one of these graves and just sort of looking at it like somebody visiting a loved one's grave. So the more I thought about it, I'm like, okay, this woman literally dematerialized. I was like, and that was the thing. She wasn't misty. She didn't fade away into a mist or anything like that. She just was gone. She was there on one side of the tree and gone on the other. And I am 100% certain she was there. So, because I looked right at her. She didn't look at me. She didn't acknowledge me. So part of me thinks, could she have been residual energy of somebody who once used to frequently visit this grave? Or was she an intelligent entity coming to visit her own grave, or a loved one's grave that she used to visit all the time, and this is what gave her comfort? So yeah, that's yet another experience of somebody who's disappeared on me in a cemetery. So unlike the one in Hamilton where they acknowledged me, this person did not, but it was clearly a woman, an older woman, a heavy-set woman with a skirt and a black sweater, with black hair with gray sprinkles in it. So, yep. They like the cemetery just as much as I do, so not just for the living. On to location number 3. This is the only one that made me a little uncomfortable. So, but again, not horrible. Doesn't send me shrieking, just, you know, it's there. Might be safe to do this now. Where I am right now, there is like 0 shoulder, and finally when I get to a place that's got a shoulder on the side of the road, it's going to be like 15 centimeters long. So it takes your chances, right? But yeah, so I'm walking along this road. I'm going to be coming up to like a series of hay bales and things like that on this side, and hay bales on that side. But before that were a series of houses. You can still see some houses if you actually walk with me. But there's going to be a series of houses. I'm not going to tell you which one, because, you know, it's not nice. But I think one time when I was walking, I encountered... No, I didn't personally encounter it. It didn't see... I don't think it saw me or acknowledged me in any sort of way. But I think I saw my first shadow person. I don't know too much about shadow people. I've been told that they are negative entities, negative energy. I don't know if I believe that. I'm thinking they just might be the spirits of humans who were jerks. I don't subscribe a lot too much to demons and things like that. In my opinion, negative entities, negative demons or whatever, might have just been people who were evil when they were alive. Because evil in life, you're going to be evil in death. It doesn't make you a better person just because you died. It doesn't change the qualities of who you are. So I think you might take those qualities with you in the afterlife. And if you can figure out a way to screw with people that way, maybe that's what you do. But I was walking along, and it was a little dark. You know, it was a late walk. I shouldn't have been out that late, but it was a later walk, and I'm walking along, and I saw this figure, all in black. It didn't have any sort of, it just had a humanoid form. It didn't have any features that I could see in the dusk. And it just sort of, it ran unnaturally across the road, from one side of the road to the other, up this house family's lawn. And it kind of looked like it went into the house as if it was going through the wall. And at first, I looked at it, and my first reaction was, a human just broke into somebody's house. Because they didn't go through the door, but I saw you disappear, so you did something. You broke into a window, you broke into a house or something like that. And I'm looking around, I didn't see anything. It wasn't that close to me, but when I got to the house, I'm looking around and I'm like, what the hell was that? But the way it ran, the best way I can put it is unnatural. It was too fast, too jaggedly. It was like a jagged run that was really, really fast, and it just seemed unnatural. Kind of like when you watch a horror movie and they kind of speed up the film, and it's an unnatural kind of movement, and it's supposed to be spooky. That's basically what it was. And that always disturbs me in horror movies, so I was disturbed when I saw this. It was a negative feeling that I got when I saw this, and I was like, this is not good. I don't know what that was, but I'm looking around, definitely not human, but I don't know what it was. It didn't acknowledge me, didn't even know, take notice that I was there, and, but it bothered me. It bothered me to see it. And I just sort of was like, okay, that was different. And just the interesting side notes to this is that within 2 months, that house was up for sale. So I don't know if that had anything to do with it, but just to see this creature, I don't even want to say it looked like the rake. It just looked like it was all black, and it had no facial features. It didn't have hair or anything. It was just a black human shape. Like people who wear those one-colored, like, costumes, and they're all one color. It was kind of like that, and it just moved unnaturally across the road. And that's all I can really say about it. And then it disappeared. And I think it disappeared into that house that 2 months later went up for sale. And even a further side note to that, or epilogue, that house goes up for sale a lot. And it's a nice little house. It's like, you look at it, it's a pretty little house. I've never been inside, but on the outside it looks great. I think this is a nice house. Must go up for a lot of money, no problem. But it's up for sale a lot. I think out of all the houses I've seen on this street that go up for sale, that one's gone up maybe 3 times as many times as any other house on this street. So there could be a connection. I don't know. I don't know. But that was the one that really disturbed me. Our final location is just over this hill that I'm going to right now. And it was an unusual one. Didn't really scare me per se, but it left me with the heebie-jeebies, I guess. So, and I never forgot it. It's one of my more recent things. I think it was like last year. So we're gonna get there, and I'll tell you that story, and then we'll head back. Okay, we are at location number 4, the final location. I'm gonna cross the road to show you what I was doing, but right now I'm just gonna wait for a car to go by. But yeah, so basically this is what I was doing. I was just going for a walk, my normal walk. This is a normal route for me that I take a lot. And I was just going along here. Oh, now there's another car coming the other way. And there's another car coming. Yeah, we don't need sidewalks here. But just walking along here. And I will take you to the spot that I saw what I saw. And I cross the road now. Here we are. Take you to the location I was at here, and hopefully you'll be able to see behind me. Over here is a fence, because behind that is a cattle farm. I don't know if you can see in the distance, there are cows right now munching away on the grass. So I was on the other side of the road over there, just taking my normal route, and it was a dreary day. It was pretty much the same time of year as this was. I think this either happened, I can't remember if it was last year or the year before. I'm thinking it might have been last year. Yeah, I think it was last year. And it was just, it wasn't raining, but it wanted to. So you could feel the dampness in the air, and it was cold. It was October. It was just an icky day. And I was just like, just wanting to get this walk over with. My knees were killing me that day, and I just wanted to get it over with. Wasn't really paying attention. I had my earbuds in. I always have music when I go for my walks. And I came upon this fence, and I'm at the same spot here. It's around where all these plants, these weeds basically, are growing. And I saw a figure standing with all these plants right around here on the fence line. And it was right up against the fence. And I don't know how to describe it. I'm assuming it was male. I'm assuming it was a guy. Very tall, very lanky and thin, and had a long brown trench coat and a wide-brimmed hat. And the best comparison I can give you that you might be able to know what I'm talking about is if you've seen the movie Ginger Snaps. And the character in there that has the long coat and the hat. It's kind of the first thing I thought of when I saw it. And it was so still. He was just standing there. It was solid, and he was just standing there. And it was just, he was looking down at these plants, it almost like he was picking berries, but he wasn't picking anything, and he wasn't moving. So I thought it was a scarecrow at first. When I first saw it, I thought the owner of this property, for whatever reason, you know, put a scarecrow right at the edge of the fence, which made no sense to me, because there's nothing really to scare here. There's no crops of corn or anything being grown, so there's no reason to scarecrows in this area. And why by the road? I didn't know. I couldn't figure that out. So I thought, okay, maybe it's a Halloween decoration. But again, the man who lives in this place, owns this property, owns this cattle, is an extremely elderly gentleman. Like the property is actually finally up for sale, because I don't think he's physically capable to do something, you know, this job anymore. So I think that he's finally selling the property, and he's not really the Halloween kind of type. I don't know him personally, but I can't see him just putting up one single solitary Halloween decoration of a scarecrow at the side of the road. It didn't make any sense to me. So I was like, this is really weird. And it's not like I looked at it for a couple of minutes and it disappeared. It's not like I'm looking at it and you know, something blocks my view like in the cemetery and it's gone on the other side. It was nothing like that. It was a solid thing. I'm literally just, as I'm walking along, I'd say maybe a good minute, just staring at this thing, being completely still, standing there doing this, whatever, just looking down. And you just saw the hat, so it was like kind of like this. Just looking down, and then it moved. I was like, what the fuck? You know, so it moved, and it just sort of, it didn't look up at me, it didn't look up, I never saw the face. The hat was always obscuring, so it was always like, kind of like that type of thing, where maybe you see the bottom half, but because the trench coat was done all the way up, didn't see everything. So my assumption is what I was looking at was male, thought it was a real person in solid form once it moved. Before that, thought it was a scarecrow in solid form. And it didn't acknowledge me or anything like that. It just, the head came up a little bit and it started moving this way along the fence line. Just walking along, turned it away from me. By this time I'm like over here somewhere, and I had literally was like watching it, you know, as I never took my eyes off this thing, ever. And it's just going along like this, and it's just, and the only thing that I thought was really weird was as it's walking along, you know how when as I'm walking, I'm going up, and I'm going down, and I'm going up, and I'm going down. It didn't do that. It looked like it was on a plane of just gliding along. I don't want to say, like, it didn't look like it was floating, because you can't see with all the dead grass and stuff here, but it just looked like it was gliding. I don't know how else to say it. It didn't, and it still didn't register to me that this might be maybe something paranormal, something residual. It just, I thought it was a person who was a really smooth walker at first, and I was trying to figure out who this person was, because it was not the man who owns this property. The man who owns this property is actually a short guy, and he's very old. So I was like, I have no idea who this person is. And I was just like, is this person even supposed to be here? And I watched them, and they walked all along this fence line, or glided all along this fence line, because like I said, it wasn't normal steps, like, you know, the jagged that humans do. It was smooth, and it went all the way up to the corner, and I'm watching this the whole time. I never took my eyes off this thing. Because I'm saying thing now because I don't believe that this was human. I have no idea what this was. And then it started going up the side of the fence line over here on the property further up. And it was on that side of the property. It wasn't on this side, my side right now. It was on the side where all these cows right now are munching away on the grass. And started to walk up towards the house on just along the fence line. And then sure enough, my view got blocked by something. As it's walking up, I think it was this, may have been this pole actually, because I was probably here by this time, just staring at it like, what the fuck am I looking at, type of thing. And then once it went that way, behind the pole, yeah, I believe it was the pole, it never came out off the other side. So I went up like this to see where he went, and he was gone. So again, obscured by something, and blocked, and disappeared. So I don't know what I saw. It was at that point when I couldn't see it anymore. Oh, there's a baby calf looking at me. Hi, baby calf. That I was like, okay, I saw something and it wasn't a person. So I don't know what it was, but it wasn't a person, and it didn't walk normally, and it was gone, and I have never seen it since. So I don't know what it was. It surprised me. Again, I wasn't scared. It just gave that heebie-jeebie creep factor, you know? It was just like, ooh, you know? It's like, got that head rush, and you're like, what the hell did I just see? And never saw it since. Don't know who it was. Kind of thinking it might have been residual energy of something that was here however long ago. Maybe they were picking berries, because in this area there are tons and tons and tons of wild berry bushes. I know, because I go picking in my own backyard wild berry bushes, and I have berries all summer long. So, well, you know, late summer. So it might have been that, I don't know, but something that I found so interesting, and definitely pretty damn cool. Now, then I was just like, what the hell is that? What is that? Who is that? Who's over there? They don't belong there. But now, I'm like, wow, that was cool. And I like to tell people that story. So, that's the last story. I'm just going to walk down to the corner and back, and then once I get back home, that will be a 5-kilometer walk for me, which is okay, because I've already walked today, so it'll be more walking, because I like walking. So, I'm going to probably do a little epilogue once I get back closer to my home, and I will see you then. Alright, I'm on my way back from my walk, and I'm passing the cows again, and there is one just yelling away. I hope it's okay. Really being vocal there. I don't know if you can see it. This one behind me. Yeah, the one with the stripe down the middle. Oh sure, now they're being quiet. Happens all the time. You want to take pictures, they run away. They know better than to trust people. Oh, there she goes again. Hope the cow's okay. Okay, we are losing light fast, so I gotta make this short and sweet. I hope you enjoyed this. I enjoyed sharing these experiences I had with you on my walks that I've taken. And just so you know, these are years of going for walks. This all didn't just happen like within 1 year, you know? I find my ghostly experiences are quite sporadic. Sometimes they come boom, 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 and then other times they're just like, you know, I'll go a year without anything. And I think that's just the way ghosts are. They come when they want to show up, and then they leave when they want to leave. And if you just happen to be the human that's in the way of their antics, then so be it. But I'd say 99.9% of them are not bad. I've never, I'd say very rarely I've felt such negativity from a spirit somehow that I had to leave. I've only done that maybe twice. And other than that, when I'm around ghosts, they're just like, usually they don't even recognize or acknowledge the person. And if they do, then they're there because they care about you and they have a message for you. So that's my theory. I could be wrong, but you never know. You know, if you see a ghost, don't get scared. I know that some people get so scared and terrified, and they may just want your attention, or maybe they're just doing their own thing and they don't even realize you're there. Or maybe if you're curious about them, they're curious about you. Who knows? But don't be scared. I'd say there's very little reason to be scared. So I'm gonna go. I will see you next time. So just let me go off by saying that just because your 5 senses don't notice it doesn't mean it's not really there. Until next time.